one day, I had been studying until very late at night, and I decided that it was time for me to go to bed. I put my night clothes on and I sit up on my bed and I take out my mala. A mala is like a rosary with wooden beads on it. I was praying on my bed with my eyes closed and totally into it. That was a routine. I had never wanted to miss my praying for even a single day. It was something which gave me a lot of peace. Suddenly, I felt that the bed was shaking slightly. I thought I was imagining it. Maybe I was tired and I'm a little dizzy today. But I was so deeply gone into the prayer that I did not want to open my eyes. And suddenly, it just grew. It felt like a gentle earthquake. And I'm thinking, this is not my imagination. So I jumped off the bed and I look at it and I see it actually shaking as though somebody was moving it. It was moving sideways and I'm just looking around the room. Nothing else was moving. Only my bed was. That spooked me out. And after a time, it could have been like 20 seconds, it suddenly stopped the way it had started, like out of the blue, without any warning. I was very alarmed and I was very scared. This was a solid antique wood bed and it required a lot of strength to make that shake. But who could be moving it? I'm alone in my room. I wanted to go to my mom's room, but I didn't want to disturb her because it was really late. I did not want to create a ruckus. So I just sit on the sofa and stare at the bed until I was just too sleepy and I fall asleep. This started happening on a regular basis. I would be sitting on my bed, I would be doing my rosary, and I would feel the bed shaking gently. After the first few incidences, I could not dismiss it. My bed does seem to have a mind of its own. I tried talking to my father about it, but he just looked at me and he laughed. And he said, okay, that's a good story. Just calm down. Maybe I'm just too tired. My mom, she thought that it was something that was playing on my mind. But she started teaching me new prayers, which did put me at ease, but the bed did not stop shaking. Everybody thought that it's something that I was imagining. Around that time, we had some people working for us. We had 2 cooks. They stayed with us for years, but they would be like forever complaining about sighting somebody walking in the backyard during the night. When we would ask them, they would say, it's a man dressed in all white and he's walking across the backyard and coming from the wall towards the shed. To the far corner in the left, we had a shed where we kept the gardening tools. I started wondering if that was the same spirit that was making my bed shake every night. was tired that nobody believed me. So one day I went up to my sister and I told her, hey, could you sleep in my room tonight so that if the bed shakes, you can feel it too? She was my elder sister and she did not want me to be scared, so she agreed. So that night, there was a massive storm brewing outside and there was a lot of rain. We got into our night clothes, we sat on the bed and we started chit-chatting about what was happening in her college and other stuff. Suddenly, the bed starts to move. And I'm looking into her eyes. It's like, okay, this is what I've been talking about. She looks at me with her eyes wide open and says, oh my God. The bed shakes gently at first, and then it started shaking violently. We both jumped off the bed. Suddenly, there was lightning. We turned and we looked towards the window. There was this black shadow on my window. We both screamed. Dad came to my room. He looks at us and says, why are you screaming? What's going on? Both of us were like clutching each other. And we said, Dad, look outside the window. But when we looked back, there was nothing. There was no shadow there anymore. So he opened the door and he went out in the veranda and he starts looking around. Suddenly he starts screaming, thieves, thieves. Me and my sister, we rushed to the veranda and I looked down and I saw two men dressed in black trying to climb up to my veranda with the help of the water pipes. It sends a shiver down my spine. My dad yells, thieves, thieves, thieves. And they both fall to the ground and they start running towards the backyard. They ran away. We couldn't sleep after so much excitement. So we just stay up. And I'm thinking about how we managed to stop the thieves. It was all because of the bed shaking. But this time, the bed was shaking so much more violently. Maybe there is a connection, but I couldn't really explain it. Months later, I was getting ready to sleep. I closed my eyes and I felt the bed start shaking. As usual, I just waited for it to stop, but it wouldn't. And it started shaking even more violently. I was so scared that I ran to my mom's room. I knew she was sick, but I didn't care. I just needed to be with her. I opened her door and I saw her, and immediately I felt something's not right. My mom is lying on her bed and she has her eyes open, but she has her mouth also open. She just looks as though she's choking. That sent a shiver down my spine because I'd never seen her like this. I screamed for my dad, for my brothers. Come quickly, something's wrong. Everybody came. My uncle down the hall, my aunts, everybody was standing in that room in no time. They were saying, oh, something's not right. She's not breathing. Press on her chest, press it. No. Call the doctor, get the car out. My mom gets admitted to the hospital. My dad stays with her and we all get back home. I knew she was in good hands, so I go back to my bed. I started making a connection. This presence in my room sent me to my mother's room and helped me raise the alarm on time. Also, the bed made us spot the thieves. So it may be a good presence. The next morning, we call the hospital and they tell us that she's doing much better. She would be all right. At this point, my bed has been shaking for almost a year and a half. I've just started living with it. I've just started accepting it. So this one day, this Sadhu came to our house. Sadhu is a sage, a monk kind of a person. He was friends of the family and he used to visit us at least twice a year. We were told that he comes from the Himalayas. And most of the times he would be away somewhere in the hills meditating. He would wear orange clothes, a loin cloth, a dupatta on top. And he was one of the most loveliest persons that I've ever come across. We would offer him food and he would regale us with stories. This Sadhu, he also had spiritual powers. If something was lost in the house, he could tell us exactly where it was located by just closing his eyes. So we were very fascinated by him. We gather in the main hall and we sit in a circle to talk to him. I sat close to him. I thought there would be no better person to tell me what exactly was happening. Maybe he could see the presence that I was feeling. I work up the courage and I say, I've been feeling my bed shake violently at times and nobody believes that this is actually happening. Some of my family members are laughing. Some of them are serious. He looked at me, and when he looked at you, he would really look at you. Then he smiled and said, okay, take me to your room. He just looks around, he touches the bed. Then he went out to the balcony that looked towards the backyard. He took a good look and he said, what's that shed over there? Take me there. So we all went downstairs and we took him to the shed where we kept the gardening tools. And he says, I can feel something here. He stepped inside, started rummaging through the stuff that was there. And then he took out something which looked like a kamandal. A kamandal is an open pot with a handle. And he took out a tattered mat. He said, whose are these? Who's put them here? These objects are special. And my dad says, we don't remember putting these things here. They've been here since forever, since the shed was built. He said, dig. Dig, there's something down below here. You need to dig here. Construction workers were called in and they started digging. My whole family is there. That Sadhu is still there. And while I'm watching these people dig the ground, I'm hoping to get some answers. They didn't really have to dig very deep. They found some khadamas, wooden sandals which saintly people used to wear. The Sadhu called everyone to gather in the backyard. He told us that this was the place of a saint who would come and pray here every day, which continued in his afterlife. This was a person who had made a lot of prayers during his lifetime and was on a spiritual higher plane than most people get to. He had claimed that piece of land as his own, and then we made a shed there where we put all the gardening tools. So basically, we had made this soul very angry. It was all in his path. And he pointed towards that wall where the cooks used to say that they saw him. The sadhu said that this saintly figure was a good soul, but when annoyed, can be a force to reckon with, and people have been known to die mysteriously. You have been saved because this girl praying in her room every day has kept the spirit calm. Maybe that has pleased him and he has spared your family. And that's why he helped me and my mom. When I heard the sadhu say this, it all made sense now. I felt a sense of gratitude towards this spirit, but my family is in awe and they look scared. They are also asking the sadhu, what do we do now? He said, this is his resting place, so you need to clean this up and you need to build a shrine, which people call dargah. We made a small block in the shed and we covered it with a green cloth. We put the sandals, the bag, and the mat, and the usual stuff for prayers that we use, the lamp and some oil. The first night after we had built the shrine, I remember sitting down there, lighting the candles, pressing the sandals, and asking for forgiveness if we have done anything wrong or annoyed him in any way, and just doing this over and over and over again. I go back to my room and then lie down on the bed, and suddenly I realize nothing is shaking at all. I slept undisturbed after that.